everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So there's an old saying that goes, it's how you leave them. Meaning that if you have a fantastic finish to an otherwise lackluster movie, you will overlook the lackluster start of the whole thing and just remember how fucking great that ending was. But does it work the other way around? Can you have a movie with an amazing start with a lackluster ending and you will still look upon the movie as quite good? That thing is what actually this movie kind of pulls off, because the start of this movie is so fantastic, so magical and so amazing that I am willing to overlook its finish that is not bad. It's just not as strong and as amazing as the start of it is. What is this movie about and why have you never heard about this movie? Well, that's why I am here. This is the 13th Guest. There is an abandoned mansion where a cab driver drops off a young woman. She claims that she is, the daughter of the old patriarch who lived there. And this place has been abandoned for 13 years, because 13 years ago there was a banquet. The big patriarch, he was holding this dinner for 12 guests, but the table was set for 13. The 13th guest, however, never showed up. During this dinner, the patriarch tells, his stunned and surprised guests and relatives that he's going to leave his entire fortune to the 13th guest. He died shortly after under, let's say, mysterious circumstances. And the young woman enters the old house. But electricity is running and there is a working phone. And the young woman also sees that the table is set for 13 people once again. And then she's found dead, electrocuted to death, sitting at, her specific spot at the table. The cops are completely bumfuzzled by all of this, and they think that they need help. They need help from super sleuth Phil Winston. Phil Winston is not very happy to, take on this case. And, the captain of the police, I will never forget that. It just sounds so happy when he says that, oh, but you gotta come, this is a swell murder. What type of murders are not swell, Mr. Police Captain, by the way? But I'm just gonna try to overlook that stupid comment because, Phil gets to work and he's trying to figure out what has happened here. He finds out how the murder has happened, but they don't know who has, committed this crime, because all the old guests, the relatives and friends and family of the patriarch, shows up and, demand answers and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, we have another dead body sitting at the dinner table. And then, to top it all off, the daughter, who was dead, re-emerges very much alive. Holy shit, what is going on here? Now, they do explain this fairly quickly and it is very logical, but otherwise the setup for this movie is absolutely fantastic. I have no idea how this is going to end, and I'm all here for it. I love murder mystery movies and they're so fun and they're so entertaining to watch, and this was just such a fun experience that when the mystery is unveiled and when we find out what truly goes on here, it is a little bit of a letdown because it doesn't really add up. It doesn't make that much sense, and you can poke holes in a lot of things in this movie that simply doesn't add up and simply is completely illogical. But for me personally, I didn't try to poke any holes in the story because I was simply too entertained by the whole thing. One problem this movie cannot overcome, however, is the 68-minute runtime. It gives them far too little time to develop the story and, flesh out the characters, because we have so many characters. And as I said, the ending was a little bit of a letdown, but at that point I was just so entertained that I sort of could overlook that part. If you like a good murder mystery, this is a fun, entertaining movie. Maybe a little bit too much humor sometimes, but we're gonna have to let that one slide too. It's only 68 minutes and the pacing is pretty high. If you, like me, like a good murder mystery, this is a pretty damn good movie. Not as good as, the Kennel murder movie that came out, about around the same time, or if you want to go more of a, modern route, the Death on the Nile or the Knives Out movies, who are, superior to this one. But it was still a very fun movie, and the characters were likable and they were colorful, and the story was very fun, and, the startup thing was just so strong that I have to forgive it for not delivering something that was equally fantastic in the end. But it is an entertaining movie, and it's just going to be, you know, 1 hour and 8 minutes of your life, and you could spend it in a worse way, I suppose. The 13th Guest gets 68 points. This is a very fun, very entertaining movie with a fantastic start and a decent finish that sort of answers most questions, but it's still a little bit of, huh? So it is easy to poke holes into, you know, the story. I just chose not to do it. And sure, it may contain a little bit too much comedy, but I'm willing to overlook that because this was just so entertaining and so much fun. So I'll see you next time for, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.